Greetings, professors, contestants, students, and everyone else, all attendees for coming together for this event. I think it's an amazing opportunity that everyone's doing this, especially for the contestants, for you getting involved in this space and playing around with things and coming up with your ideas to get to this level is amazing. Congratulations to all of you as you're about to find out who wins. So my name is Joe Rosinski. I'm a technologist and futurist at Thomson Reuters. What the heck does that mean? It basically means that I spend an inordinate amount of time thinking about the future, looking at different disciplines and trying to bring all of that back into the legal world and saying, okay, how's it going to impact law firms and corporations and government agencies, the courts, academia, all of that, how it all starts to come together, right? So that's my sort of picture on the world. And what I want to say is you all, I feel very jealous in some respects, are living in the best time ever, honestly. You might be saying, this guy is quackers. What is he talking about? We're going through a pandemic, and yes, we are, and that's extraordinarily serious. But beyond that, as we start to talk about technology and its impact on all of us, professionally as well as personally, this is truly a time like none other. Beyond all of what we've seen before in humanity, this is an amazing time to be alive, to take advantage of all of these things. This future that we are living now is full of abundance and promise, such to the extent, and I know that you're all going to throw a tomato at me if you could, a virtual tomato. In the next 25 to 30 years, it is projected that we may no longer have poverty, which is almost unfathomable to think about. But we're at a stage with technology as its development and the exponential growth of that is that we may get to the point that that is true. So I'm going to try to bring that back around and talk about the legal industry and what the promise is there. But a lot of this stuff revolves around remoteness, cloud-based, data integrated. These pieces are coming together within all industries, but especially within the legal industry. And you'll see me start to piece that together. So as we're about to talk about this, what I want to say is that you all, the minds that are coming out of these schools, are best positioned, ideally positioned to take advantage of this at this special time. And I want to get the sort of the juices flowing, the mind running and racing as you're about to see the examples that I'll put forth in just a second. Thomson Reuters is in a really special place. We have the assets and the ability to sort of break down data and the legal aspects of this and the law, piece these things together and start to really bridge together components, data work services and flows to allow people to truly get to the point of understanding this and leveraging and helping others. Fundamentally, within the legal industry, we're trying to help others, either access to justice or the people that don't have the ability to get that. That's a huge component of this. So you all are really well positioned to start to think about this as from the big picture of what we're about to do to the practical. So first and foremost, everyone is invited to this space. There are resources that are out there for all of us to take advantage of. While this talk is really around legal centricity, many roles will be leveraged. So if you're involved in engineering, or maybe you want to go into that space even after studying the legal industry, or design, if you're very creative, the potential, business, that'll always be omnipresent in my personal view. And of course, here come the examples. So I'm going to talk about some really futuristic stuff, and then we'll get into the practical. So let's kick it off with the near term. What are we expected to see? As legal practitioners are about to get into this space, drone delivery. When the drones come, what are we going to do? How are we going to interact with that projected 2020 to 2025? Driverless cars. We're really essentially there. If it were not for the sort of the rules and regulations that we have in various jurisdictions around the world, we're there. The technology is quite honestly at that point where you could leverage it. 3D printing, somewhat of a novelty. But we're getting to the point of food. If you need certain vitamins and your doctor is saying, please get this, you'll be able to print that in 2025. AI-generated coding. We hear too much about artificial intelligence, in my personal opinion. Elon Musk came out with this sort of side project called GPT. Take a look at it when you have a chance. It allows for tons of opportunity to start to use the coding and algorithms that are baked into this and immense data to leverage things such that, quick example, if I want to build a web page and just sort of speak it into my computer just like I'm doing right now, it'll build the page for me automatically. You don't have to code. You don't even have to know how to code. Fantastic. And that's only going to get better in time. DAOs, distributed autonomous organizations. Too many words. Sounds very complicated. It's not. It's blockchain based, so it's database that's distributed based, that has a little bit of code, a little bit of programming in there, that's if-then statement. Do this, don't do that. People are building brand new businesses where you may have needed 5,000 people to do things, to process things. Now you might only need 300 people to do that. But it's going to propagate new businesses and new ideas all over the place. These things are happening right now. Take a gander at it. But the legal impact, huge regulations, contracts, litigation opportunities, transactional opportunities. There's immense opportunities here. So near term, 2023 to 2027, smart toilets. Yes, it can diagnose things. That's kind of cool, but there's privacy concerns too. Robot swarms. So AI combined with all sorts of servos that are based inside of applications that allow for robotic things to take place. Those things are going to take place. Smart dust, basically GPS-enabled specks of dust, almost like a grain of sand. You can smear it on something. There's privacy concerns there, but there's also some really cool applications if you think about it. Legal impact, privacy, and health concerns, right? Litigation and transaction as well. Long term, the second to last grouping here, 2023 to 2032, shape-shifting matter. How is that going to impact our lives? As legal practitioners, either the business of law or the practice of law, what do you do with that? How do you work within that? Opportunities galore. Public mood monitoring? Well, China's doing this right now. They're using it, obviously, to monitor if someone's crossing the streets, using facial recognition to determine this person's doing this potentially illegal activity, and it hits their social networking score. Frightening. They actually have mood monitoring on interviewing. So I'm able to sit there and do my interview like this, and if I'm lying, then it might be able to see through my eyes that I'm doing that. These are the types of things that you are going to encounter either as a legal practitioner or as maybe somebody in engineering. So all these types of things. Quantum safe cryptography, implantables. We're already seeing people practice implantables in the back of their neck, around their ear, connecting to their brain. What does that do? What could you potentially do if it was hacked? Security concerns. The legal impact, right? Regulation, security, privacy, litigation, and transactional. Sorry, that's hidden there. A last one. Long-term, 2035 to 2060. So close to singularity, the time when artificial intelligence sort of peaks out over what we can possibly do. DNA storage, having trees being able to store information. Trees, organic materials store information because they can store tons of it. Fantastic possibilities. AI board members and politicians. Bonkers, right? Dream reading and recording projected in 2040. Artificial consciousness. That's the stuff of sci-fi. Yes, it will be coming, especially for your young minds who are coming out of school, university right now. Human cloning. That's frightening, but these are the things that are coming. And you might even see this in the next 10 years, depending on what part of the world you're in. There are people trying to do this now. Huge ethical concerns. Legal impact, regulation, security, privacy, litigation. Yes, unbelievable stuff. So let's get practical. Really, let's get practical. Thomson Reuters is looking at it from this lens. Technology-infused roles as practitioners, as lawyers, right? Workflow architects. How can you start to pull together different pieces, workflows within the practice of law, the business of law, right? How do you build those things out? There's tools that we have that will allow people, especially creative people, young people, to leverage APIs, pulling data from different resources around the world, maybe from various assets Thomson Reuters has, maybe government agencies, maybe private law firms. All that starts to come together. Artificial intelligence, People are now able to tweak the algorithms behind the scenes. It's a cartridge that you put in the machine and you say, okay, I've messed around with some of these algorithms before, maybe I haven't. New roles, new visions that you all can start to tap into, which is incredible. Search engine optimizers, chatbot facilitators, the abilities and the technology that are all coming together right now get us to a point where we don't even know what the names of these jobs are going to be, right? But you as individuals be able to leverage the technology, start thinking creatively, tap into things that Thomson Reuters has, the assets, the tools, man, the collaboration. This is really where we're seeing things take off right now. Tons of data, the ability to collaborate among different groups, thinking about things differently. New service delivery models in the legal industry that people have never even thought about before. One of the things we have is high Q, and this is it's just like, what can you build with your own imagination? As you start to think about how something should flow from intake of a particular matter or a case that you're working with, what does that look like as you pass it off from one person to the other? Is a project manager involved in that? Is there time and billing you have to deal with? You know, who can task this out? How can you build that out? Well, you as an individual can actually build these things now. It's plug and play types of tools that we didn't have 4 or 5 years ago. Some people did, but very few. So these are the types of things that you're starting to see Thomson Reuters work with, play around with. The growth is immense. You can see all the different facets here that you as an individual can start to play around with if you leverage these tools. There's universities that are starting to play around with this. And again, I firmly believe if you play around with this, you will have a much better idea once you either go to a government agency or a law firm, or maybe you're not going to practice. Try to use these things in your sandbox. Get a sense for how they work, how you could build something out. They are fantastic. So, my name is Joe Rosinski, as I said before. Please feel free to reach out to me at any point in time. I love the dialogue, the interaction, the conversation. This is what I live and breathe, as you might be able to tell, hopefully. So feel free to reach out. Love the conversation. Best of luck to all of you as you go forward and you're about to hear who the winners are. Congratulations again to each and every one of you for getting involved in that. It is fantastic, and you will reap the rewards if you continue to go down this road. So again, congratulations. Best of luck to each and every one of you. Thank you. Take care.